Hello, everyone. Today I'll be discussing the ethical dilemmas that surround the practices of terminating pregnancies with trisomy 21. Specifically in Iceland, where this practice has become the most notable and probably the most widespread of any country on the globe. But first, what is trisomy 21? Trisomy 21 is caused by non-disjunction during meiosis. And this is when chromosomes do not properly separate during meiosis, and one of the sperm or one of the eggs being created is left with an extra chromosome. And when one of these gametes or sex cells is fertilized or fertilizes, then you end up with an individual that has an extra 21st chromosome. And during trisomy 21, this specifically is the 21st chromosome. And trisomy 21 is the cause of Down syndrome, which is its common name. And trisomy 21 has many common symptoms, and these are short stature, muscle hypotonia, which is reduced muscle mass, atlantoaxial instability, which is a weak or floppy neck, reduced neuronal density, cerebral hypoplasia, which is a reduced size of the cerebellum in the brain, intellectual disability, and congenital heart defects. Iceland aborts virtually 100% of all fetuses detected with trisomy 21, and this makes Iceland the leading country in the abortion of fetuses with Down syndrome. As a result of this, only 1 to 2 people with Down syndrome are born a year here. And the most common reason for these births slipping through is the fact that prenatal screening for trisomy 21 is not 100% accurate. And this is how they test for it, is prenatal screening, how they know that they will be born with Down syndrome. And since it's not 100% accurate, that's the only reason they get born, because pretty much everyone in this country, 80 to 85% of women, receive prenatal screening. And this results in there's only around 234 people with Down syndrome living in Iceland currently, which makes it one of the lowest populations of Down syndrome in any country on the earth. The most commonly used test in Iceland to screen for Down syndrome is nuchal translucency. In this test, they examine an ultrasound image of the fetus to determine the thickness of the nuchal fold on the back of the neck. And a thicker than average fold normally indicates Down syndrome. However, the test is only about 80% accurate. So 20% of the time, this results in either a baby with Down syndrome being born, even though prenatal screening indicated that they were a normal fetus, or sometimes fetuses that are normal can be aborted because the test showed that they had Down syndrome. And 80 to 85% of pregnant women will receive this screening, so the majority of pregnant women in the country do undergo screening. And this is partly due to massive pressure from media and doctors telling women to receive this screening. And a study by a graduate student of the University of Iceland ran a study and recorded the mentioning of prenatal screening in the media from 2000 to 2005, and she found 53 mentions. And the overwhelming majority of these mentions praise prenatal screening and say that it is a technological advance and that it's a very good thing and that all women should receive it. In very, very few instances, she found that anything in the media raised concerns over the efficacy of these screenings and aborting of these children. And the most notable objections were from healthcare workers and many parents of Down syndrome. And even physicians have been found to pressure pregnant women into receiving these tests, praising them. And the same graduate student of the University of Iceland interviewed many women who refused screening, and she found 2 very prevalent answers as to why they did not undergo screening. And one of the largest was that Down syndrome, they felt, was not a severe enough condition to abort, so they refused to even undergo screening because they knew they would not abort the fetus if Down syndrome was detected. And another very large reason for not undergoing prenatal screening is that They felt that the test was unreliable, and they did not want to abort a fetus that could not have Down. There was a possibility of them not having Down syndrome, even if it was detected. So, is Iceland ending Down syndrome? No. Down syndrome is a result of an error during cell division, and it's not an issue of genes being passed down or any hereditary mechanisms. There's no way to end Down syndrome with current medicine and technology. The practice of aborting these individuals is eugenic. Eugenics is described as being the self-direction of human evolution. And these practices can be compared to the ones the Nazis employed during the Second World War. The Nazis would routinely murder people with any disabilities in an attempt to try and create the perfect human race. The only difference between the Nazis and current practices is that the disabled person is not born yet. The abortion of these individuals sets a dangerous precedent for the future as well. As medicine advances and we are able to discover more about fetuses before they are born, we will be able to find many more abnormalities. And if we are willing to abort fetuses with Trisomy 21 now, what would stop people from aborting fetuses for anything in the future? This could lead to a massive increase in abortions for the sake of having the perfect child. And I say that that is no different than the Nazis' practices. Another concern is that all of the pressure from doctors and the media, women are very strongly urged to undergo prenatal screening and terminate any abnormal pregnancies to fit in with societal norms. And I believe that this creates a very dangerous culture in Iceland and could lead to massive consequences in the future. Thank you for watching.